Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation. I am Felicia Miller Johnson, and I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. So, this morning, I have the pleasure of connecting with Rashad. So, let's bring him to the screen. Aloha, Rashad.
Hey, how's everybody?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Awesome. So, where are you connecting from? Because you and I have never had a conversation before or anything like that. So, tell me, where are you?
Like location wise in the country,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Are you born and raised?
Born and raised in North Carolina. That's right. In the
Okay.
Carolina blue skies.
Awesome. So that's why you, when you first talking about the sunshine and the weather, weather seems to be important.
Oh, it's very important to me for sure. From the constellation to early morning, getting that sun. It's very important to me. Very, very, very important.
Well, interesting because already there's this young guy sitting here outside in nature with the sunshine and the light. So it's already coming out here um for that. So the question that comes to me though, have you traveled outside of North Carolina before?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Tell me about that.
So I generally like to I tell myself that I take my presence and light and everything to different places. So when I go to different places, it
The
travels with
light.
me. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it goes with me. So DC is like a second home to me, the DMV metro area, because of the culture, because of the people. So when I get there, I get a burst of energy as well as New York. New York is, obviously that energy place. I've been to Florida. I've been to my family's from San Antonio. Um, so I've been to South Carolina. I've been a lot of eastern states, but that DMV area is probably one of those highlight areas for sure.
Well, I totally can relate to that. So I used to go to University of Maryland College Park for
Oh yeah.
2 years. So I know what you mean. And I personally thought that at the time, I thought I was going to do marketing in New York and, but live in Jersey because I graduated high school in Jersey, military background. So traveled all these different places
Mhm.
um, with that. So the question is kind of coming through enjoying nature, 'cause especially like the DC and the New York type areas. They're not known so much for nature and it's kind of concrete city.
Mhm.
So what is it about the energy like when you visit those places that did you find invigorating?
I think for me, I feed off of the energy of people.
Mm,
So and culture. So for me, with Candid Yams Kickback, which is something that we'll probably get into a little later, but basically, when I go to different cities like that, I go in and out of community
mhm,
to see how they experience life, because life I think is the best thing. And so for me, when I get to those cities, what's invigorating about that is the energy and the possibility of doing everything that I want to do
mhm,
there. And that includes eating, enjoying, kicking back, going to different things and seeing different sights and sounds. So for instance, for my people that are, from New York or visit New York often, you could be up at 2 a.m. in the morning, going to the movies in New York,
so you
and
can never
seeing,
sleep. Mhm,
yeah. But if you ride the train, I remember one of my trips, riding the train. This is how, because I'm a huge community person too. So my buddy that was talking to me on the phone, he said, "Do you know where you are?" I was like, "No." He said, "Pay attention to the people that get on the train, right?
mhm,
You'll be able to tell which kind of neighborhood you're in based off of who gets on the train. And so I spent the whole day riding the train, to be honest with you, to see, your scholars, and you see your people that are from Spanish Harlem,
Yes.
see your people that are in Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, just, seeing who and what got off the train. And I just thought that was very, very interesting, and how people, all say that they're different, but to be honest with you, people, kind of, do the same types of things, and if you pick up on their signals and pick up on their energy, you'll be able to fall right in with them.
What's interesting is the card that came on here has to do with the theme of harmony, and is what you talk about, like all these people arrive in the train, but there's different type of people. But then you were kind of picking up on the energy of like, but yet are we all really that different? And it says a trigger statement, I am boiling over. The true statement says, I allow myself to feel. And so it's kind of that sense as well as when you were saying like, okay, the energy, like I'm feeling that. That's what people connect to. And it says, give yourself space to decompress and take time to nurture your body, mind, and spirit. Allow emotions to surface and release. And so that's what was kind of leading me to asking, is like, well, what is it that when you go to those cities that is different from the nature, um, scenery and feelings from the Carolinas? Because what's interesting, what I used to find from the East Coast is that you can hide in plain sight. And I realized, like in New York, that was something that I was drawn to because I was, like I said, the energy, the feeling, the sense. I didn't have to show that personality side of me. I could just be there, minding my business, and don't know you.
Right.
But living in the South, that's not as much. You could
Nope.
be sitting on the beach, people go like, "Hey, how are you doing?" And,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Do I know you? Can
Do
I
not
just?"
come down here if you don't like to talk. Don't do it. You're
So,
gonna
but
talk to us.
that
You're gonna
part,
talk to us. Okay. You
but
family.
right. So it's like people are going to know, but it was like I knew in order to, as I say, the spirit team, Aloha Spirit Team, Hawthorne Sisters know, it's like, okay, if you're gonna have, we see you having this show years down, which I didn't know at all. Like you're gonna have to be able to talk to folks, and so I realized in that environment that's something that kind of happened. So the other thing when we're talking about feelings and it's coming to your business, the fact that you named your business Candid Yams Kickback, to
Yeah.
me, I feel Candy Yams is a soulful food. You think a lot of times you eat around Thanksgiving. It's sweet. You take this whole potato. So tell me, how does that show up in your business? Like, what is Candy Yams
Oh
Kickback?
man. So you almost read my whole mission statement, to be honest with you.
Read it
So
to me.
basically bringing an inspirational conversation through meals, family, and film.
Chill. Okay. Uh-huh. So
So
how
I
how did it
started
come
this
about?
business back in 2016 because I went to Winston-Salem State University in Winston-Salem, an HBCU here in the South, and I spent so many years at that institution building my community, right? Being a first generation student and just coming into that environment, I just enjoyed everything about it. I really, soaked myself in that culture. But when I got out of school, like a lot of us that went to a 4-year school or, went to and had communities that we were in,
Mhm.
you graduate from that and you think about everything that's wonderful about graduation, right? Putting the
Mhm.
stole on, your mom is there, people taking pictures, so on and so
Mhm.
forth. But what you don't realize is the drop off, right? The drop off is you have to build yourself all over again once you enter into the world, because your friends
Mhm. Uh-oh, look, we had a little delay there.
move away.
It's catching up. Hold on, Rashad. Your video's delayed.
We still there? We good?
Yes, I'm here. Okay. So the
Okay.
drop
Okay.
off, it was a short, yes, go from there.
So basically the drop
Which is
off happens.
interesting. It's kind of like a drop off. You dropped off literally. But okay,
Yeah.
go on.
So I was like, man, I'm gonna have to build my whole professional self over again and build another community because I missed going to the cafeteria. I missed, hanging out on the stoop with my friends and all of that. So I actually went to DC and my buddy graduated from George Mason I've been out about 2 years. He graduated from George Mason, and I
Mhm.
went up, and we had this crazy great cookout. People just pulling up from everywhere, and I was like, man, I wonder how I can recreate these times and moments with my friends, right? Where we have conversation. Well, generally, when some of my close friends know that I talk to them in movie quotes because I'm a huge movie person.
Hmm.
So, I said, well, I wonder if people will come out to an event where we talk about a film and have conversation, right?
Mhm.
Because I volunteer with film festivals. I'm into hip hop and music and all these different things because I played and marched in the band as well. So those are, some of the things that really, got me together as a person: music, film, all that sort of stuff, community. So I
Mhm.
wanted to combine all of those elements. And so I told my mom, and I was like, Mom, I think I'm gonna do this event. And she was like, okay, cool. I think I'm gonna cook. Well, my mom's a Southern mom. So like she's from San Antonio. She cooks all the time, so on and so forth. So I'm putting this event together.
Mhm.
And this is so wonderful because I just remembered this like yesterday. But my favorite vinyl record shop
Mhm.
in Winston-Salem, I went and I asked the owner. I said, "Hey, I'm thinking of having this event where I'm inviting some people. Would you be open to hosting it in your location, like in this? Because I like intimate settings too."
Mhm.
So he was like, "Yeah, man, bring him down," because he was just opening up his shop. It was an opportunity for him to, meet a different class of people that he may not have been able to market to for
Right.
free, and we're bringing them to him. So I invited about 25 of my friends, and we showed "Time Is Illmatic" by Nas, and people showed up, and my mom showed up, and she rolled up with candied yams, mac and cheese, fried chicken, red beans and rice, and like pound cake. And
Wow.
I was like, Mom, why did you cook all this food? Like, and so people, when they got there, they were just like, I'm gonna pull up to this thing and it's gonna be, kind of cool and intimate. But when they saw that food, they got
Mm.
super excited. And so, of course, my mom's an award-winning cook. So,
Mhm.
that's I think the food is what kept them around. But the reason the name is Candid Yams Kickback is because I was going to a lot of business and networking events because I'm, in education and I have a side business in marketing and advertising.
Mhm.
So I love education. I have a passion for that. I love marketing and business, so I have a passion for that. But I was going to a lot of networking events at the time, and if you've ever been to any networking events, it's all at that time it was all about, hey, my name is Rashad Little. Here's my card. It was very like transactional, and to me, you don't make connections through just transaction. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite sports team? Where do you go and travel and all of that? And I wanted a more candid experience to networking, right?
Mhm.
So Candid is there for that. Yams, to your point earlier, is about gathering. It's about family. It's about harmony during the times of year where we remember it most. So when you hear Candid Yams, I want you to connect directly back to Thanksgivings, the Christmases, the gatherings with your family. And then a kickback is just that. It's not a party. It's a kickback for us to have a conversation about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness through film and conversation.
Mm. Indeed was. Uh, okay, so the card that came out before here is the theme of constellation. And it's like, what's the oil? Comforting. It's like the whole coming together and having this whole conversation. And the trigger says, I cannot go on. But the true statement says, my heart is light, which goes back to here to this picture. Like you said, this guy is holding his light up. And it says, please hold space for the feelings you have. Honor them and be with them. Your burden will be lightened. So again, you're very much a feeling person, because what I hadn't said here is what was on the bottom of this card. And it says, an amazing opportunity. Be bold, courageous, and optimistic. Now is the time to take action. Do what you're passionate about. And it sounds like that's kind of very much what you are doing in your life,
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
things that what you're passionate about. But then you also got here. Oh, and by the way, green is about the heart chakra, which is about feelings. And so you also had here the theme of faith. And it says the trigger statement, why does this always happen to me? The true statement, I am at peace. Know that everything will work out as it is needed and hold a space of gratitude as you watch the miracles unfold. So the question that's coming through now, Rashad, is tell me about what is the miracle in your life?
Hmm. I would say the miracle in my life
Mm-hmm.
is the ability to see. I would say, not even with these two eyes, is with this eye here.
The third one?
Yeah.
This
I would say the ability to see, the ability to learn and execute on extreme amounts of data and information, not for the selfishness of like taking over things, but to be able to teach and give back and build myself. Um, I think that's the miracle for me, because again, when I'm reading or I'm researching or I'm traveling, I'm always thinking about other people. How can how can this benefit others? I was going to say earlier with the film piece, what I found out is about film therapy and film psychology through all of this,
mm,
and I found out that you could use film and conversation to position conversation in a way where we're dealing, all of us are dealing with humanity, right, and
mhm,
dealing with how we get through quote unquote life. And as I mentioned before in the beginning of this, I think that life is the best thing that any of us could ever have, right? And because of that, I have been tasked through my third eye again, to attack the human condition through film and conversation. And the human condition is basically all of the things that all of us have to go through to map out life. But what's crazy is that the thing that has been ringing, loud and true for me in the last couple of months is
mhm,
that it's not about what happens to us. It's about understanding that life is going to happen and you need to be a part of it, an active part of it,
mhm,
right? So when you start looking at, you start, siphoning out, things that are not problems, but they're opportunities to learn who you are. Embracing the war in your life is going to teach you so much more about yourself than peace ever will. Even though peace needs to be celebrated, it needs to be celebrated for a shortened amount of time. But the war needs to be embraced because you're getting ready to learn so much more about yourself in war than you ever would in peace.
mhm. Well, the card that came out for numbers that you had is a 03, 03. And it's like when you were talking about your eye, you didn't initially say the third eye, but the three. And here's what it says on this card: taking chances. It says success, knowledge, friendships, impatience, freedom, optimism. When chances present themselves, seize them and do something out of the ordinary. Whether in your professional or personal life, you will find success by welcoming creative impulses
Mhm,
and having faith. Faith again shows
mhm,
up in your own abilities. Trust in chance and take risks on opportunities that could change your life for the better.
mhm.
So next thing, so we're talking about movies. So yesterday, have you ever seen Drumline?
Drumline?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I was compelled to watch that movie again. Yeah, I've seen it many times. So I'm going to go with the question is, what are the lessons that you would point out from that movie?
Oh man. So perseverance, number one.
Mm-hmm.
With him coming from New York to Atlanta, moving and taking his talent to a different space,
East
right?
Coast to the South.
That's right.
Yes.
The war that he had to embrace in that movie was the fact that he couldn't read music, and he was demoted from the drum line until he learned that skill. And he hated it at first, but he ended up embracing it because it taught him more about himself and it made him even more confident about his abilities. But it also taught him humility as well. Just because
Mm-hmm.
you're talented, talent only takes you so far. You got to embrace the war of your weaknesses, become a champion of your weaknesses is a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think that the love for his mother, the love for the non-love of his father, and the love of his girlfriend kind of got him, kind of, was a bridge that kind of got him from space to space.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, that movie ended well as well, with him competing with his drum mates, um, and his bandmates, right? But at first he wasn't on the field at all, and
Mm-mm.
the doc asked him to come and join them. And this, what's interesting is that I almost had a similar experience, except for the fact that I actually got kicked out of the band, and I actually could not perform with my bandmates.
So this is why I watch it. Okay, so this is your story. So you were already showing up.
Yeah,
uh, like I said, it's always I learned it when I'm getting ready to talk with the guests. It's like it's something that connects me because I was like, I didn't see Drumline plenty of times, and I really liked the movie. But I
yeah.
was sitting there yesterday. I was like, I'm feeling like I'm supposed to be watching this movie again.
And
Hmm.
PD Pablo was featured in that movie. Where's PD Pablo from?
North Carolina, isn't he?
North Carolina. Come on and raise up.
Come on, see. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. So the hand move trap that came up next here is this. And it has to deal with tolerance.
Hmm.
And it says be generous. I'm gonna read you what it says on the back. It says the liquid, quote unquote, mudra helps in case of odemia, accumulation of fluids in the body, and a burning sensation in the eyes, which we talked about the third eye thing. Kidney and bladder complaints can be eased as well. In acute cases, maintain the mudra as long as you need. In chronic cases, practice this 10 times a minute a day. In my experience, when you're faint hearted, downcast, or make exaggerated demands on ourselves or others, the result always brings suffering, trouble, strife. It's time to put an end to that. Imagine that you are near a majestic waterfall, which produces a wonderful rainbow. You will freely relinquish all despondency of expectations and all the superficial liquids in your body to the waterfall. The colorful rainbow expresses all of your newfound generosity, sense of lightness, and freedom. Then it finally says, without expectations, I am free. So I'm going to go back here because the boy is sitting next to this water kind of thing. So as you continue to do your business and the candy yams and all of that, and excel to the next level, and you're very, as I talked to you in the beginning, emotions, and water is connected with emotions and fluiding. What is it that you need to release, Rashad, so
What
you
is it
can
that
go
I need to release?
from your life, so you can continue your work and go to the next level?
Uh, this is gonna sound corny, I think, but I
Mm.
think um I think I need to release the thought that limits are there at all.
Mm-hmm.
There are no limits in life, and I don't know why we put those barriers on ourselves. Again, we get into life and start living a life that we think should have limits. It should be hard. This and the third. What if it wasn't hard though? What if there were no limits there, actual limits? One of my favorite quotes by Michael Jeffrey Jordan, also from North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that also played at UNC Chapel Hill, Carolina. He he said in his acceptance speech in the hall to the Hall NBA Hall of Fame, he said limits like fears are often just an illusion, right? So I think going forward, I think I need to fully embrace that because there are no limitations, not for
There are
real.
no limits. No. And that's why I said, who is the spirit guide that can come out and connect with Rashad? And you got Diana. And she talks about focus intention. And here's what it literally says on the card. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, expect the best possible outcome, which is exactly what you're talking about. There's no limits. So here's her extended message where she talks about. She says, move forward with unwavering faith. Know that what did I tell you? I told you faith, faith, faith. It's all in your energy vibe here.
Nice.
Knowing that the universe is supporting you. Diana is helping you awaken your divine ability to manifest what you desire. Any fear, which we were talking about earlier, is only a reminder that whatever you're working on or through is an important issue for your growth. Your focus is strong now, and you will be particularly powerful at the full moon. The eclipse is coming. So, you may be aware of night owl tendencies. This is because your angels and guides are sending you important messages that you may be missing during the day due to a busy schedule. Set some time aside to do a deep meditation to receive the guidance. Does that make sense to you, Rashad?
Yes, it does.
So be it. Indeed. Well, Rashad, it has been a pleasure connecting with you. So, if people want to know more about you and how you are helping your community, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so I'm on most platforms under Rashad Little, my name right here, or
Mm-hmm.
right here. So I'm there, and then you could follow my page, Candid Yams Kickback, on Facebook, and on Instagram, I'm at Candid Graham, so CNDID Graham. And of course, you need to email me. That's candidyamskickback@gmail.com.
Awesome. Amazing. And even when you're coming next time, you having some candy yams. Y'all remember
For
Rashad
sure.
Little.
Yeah, for sure.
And watching Drumline. Here we go.
For sure.
Thank you for being a guest on the Onto Conversation. Thank you for those that have watched and been a part of this process of encouraging everyone to live smart and ascend to new levels of work life success. If you're interested in being a guest on All Intuitive Conversation, learn more in my YouTube channel and send me a message on LinkedIn. Until we all meet again, this has been an All Intuitive Conversation. Thanks for sharing.